It's summertime, and that means if you sell on eBay and Amazon, your sales are about to go in the toilet.
What?
Well, maybe not. That's what a lot of people think, right? Summer comes along, your sales really tank, and it just sucks for 2 or 3 months. But we've got some ideas and tips about maybe how you can make it a little better and have a little fun while you're doing it. So welcome to the Prof Sales YouTube channel. I'm Prof Sales.
And you're obviously not Mother Nature because it's not summer yet. And I'm Just Ask Kaaren.
And we talk about on this channel being a reseller, being in business for yourself, an entrepreneur, selling on e-commerce platforms like eBay and Amazon and others, and just having a positive little community. That's a good word.
It is.
Here on YouTube.
It must be Friday.
It is Friday here. I don't know what
silly.
I don't know what day it is where you're at, but it's 1 of 7. I got a shot, I'm guessing. So, but anyway, we're glad that you're here, though. There's a live chat going on right now. I see real live people in it, Kaaren.
Happy day after your birthday, Adam.
Unless we're all living in the Matrix, and they're not really. That was Friday the 13th music, not the Matrix.
No, it was kind of like the... Oh, wait. We're being too silly.
Oh, yes. We've been told, stop being silly. No fun. This is very serious business. I just want the information. This is not the channel for you. If that's what you want, I'm sorry. It's just not going to work for you. Sorry, people are distracting me on a group me as well. Not resellers, but another group of equally silly people. That was very silly.
Do you think we can focus,
like Monty
please?
Python. Yes. So leave us a question or comment if you're in the chat or watching later.
And don't forget to like it. That's our own version of sharing and liking all at the same time. Because if you like what you hear, are curious, have questions, why not share it with a friend?
Agreed. And Brian says he scored 5 big bags of books at a bag sale. That's awesome.
Aw,
we're gonna show you some books here in a moment, but not yet. She wanted to have them in the shot, but couldn't get them quite high enough.
Well, and
which is there's a challenge. We have to process enough books to get them in the shot.
Well, and you're kind of lying because we're not going to show them books per se.
I'll show you boxes of books. I mean, come
boxes of books.
Books by
themselves.
Be honest. So again, leave us a question or comment if you have one. We'd like to hear from you and let us know what you think of this video. So we've got a live show going on, so we'll be interacting with people best we can.
And are we going to say hi to any folks? I can't see, so you'll have to. Hey, Hank.
There's a lot of people here. Ninja's here. Anna.
Wrench
Cindy.
of all wrenches. You see she's there to moderate today. That's
Adam,
awesome.
Marco Polo. Marco.
Polo.
Marco.
Oh.
You're right there.
Yeah.
Found you.
I wonder how many times Marco
J.R. White, Jennifer, Aaron, Brian, Janetta, Michelle, Thrift Trader, Adam, again. Oops, sorry. Cindy. And yeah, so there's a lot of people there. And a lot more that are listening.
So for those of you that have been here before, is it just me, or does he have a renewed sense of prof positivity around this book journey that he's on? Like, I've totally noticed that you've been reinvigorated. Books. It's driving me a little crazy. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. It's actually refreshing. It's a good thing because we sort of get in these ruts. I don't know, ruts, doldrums, just monotony of it all. And these books, I mean, it's tasking your brain, yeah?
Oh yeah, yeah. And we're going to jump into this topic a little bit more. And that's interesting you said that because that sort of ties in with what we're going to talk about. There's a couple quick questions and comments.
Okay.
I wanted to catch before we did it. Anna said, I'm totally new, and what types of household stuff should I focus on to bump up my limits on eBay this month? It's a good question. You mean to answer you?
No, I mean, you go for it.
Well,
it does tie into what we're going to talk about.
Well, I would say, Anna, try to sell things in your house that are either new or in really good condition. I would not sell anything that's been heavily worn or damaged or possibly defective, and you don't know for a fact it works. It's the stuff in your house, you're probably going to know what's going on with it, but you want to sell things that are easy to ship, they're not going to be expensive, and have very little that can really go wrong with them.
Well, and what is Anna familiar with? Like, Anna, what's your history?
It's her stuff in her house. So, but yeah.
Oh, so she's familiar.
Yeah, right. She's familiar with it, with the product, but I'm thinking about just in, certain things like clothes are pretty easy because you can look those over. Electronics gets a little more tricky because people will sometimes take advantage of new sellers with electronics and say they don't work and things like that. So I'd probably stay away from those. And things that are easy to ship and not expensive. Like, don't sell things that weigh 20, 30 pounds. It's going to be complicated to figure out shipping, and you're likely to lose money on it. So I would start with those. Somebody else said, question on selling limits. My basic store, I thought it was on 100 a month, but my limits show 2,500 a month. I guess you're saying items.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the store gives you the ability to list items and pay lower insertion fees, as well as, run sales and things like that. I don't know that it really has that much to do with your selling limits. That's a different metric. Selling limits is how many items you can list and for what dollar amount. The store gives you discounts on some percentage of those items. Like 1,000 is the premium. It gives you 1,000 listings every month with no insertion fees. The Anchor store, I think, gives you 10,000.
And I'm not sure what they're giving when you first open an account. What the opening amount is for your limits, your listing limits. Because you're on, when you first start out, you're on a bit of a probation, right?
Right. What's up, the deadhead behind you? It's Mr. Thingy. It's a thing.
No, that head. I put a surprise head. Look, scooch.
Oh,
see?
oh, yeah. It's like a mouse with antlers. Adam says, tell Kaaren I'm at Barnes & Noble looking at Las Vegas books since she's not wearing her sunglasses. Does that mean something?
Yes, I think.
Okay. So, all right, let's jump into this topic. We've wasted enough of these people's time.
Okay, so of late in our house, we've been talking a lot about transitioning into summer, right?
That's correct.
And what that's going to look like. Ben is making plans. My son, he is in between junior and senior years. He's wanting this to be the summer of working.
And the summer of working.
The summer of making money.
It's not the summer of love.
You're talking about my baby.
No, I'm talking about the summer of love back in 1968 or 69. Whatever.
Yeah, I know what they were doing back then. I was born shortly thereafter, so. All right, so I'm going to put on my glasses now.
That took a turn. Go ahead.
So the whole idea of talking about this today was that what are we all getting ready for? And both of us sort of gravitated towards summer, like what's it going to look like? And a lot of times, I think you started the show with the bumper, everybody has this idea that certain times of the year, summer being one of them, oh, my sales are just going to slow down. It's going to be terrible. And for those of you that are new, we're always making lemonade here. So we're not going to allow any pity parties. We're not going to pander to that. And the idea of today's show is, what do you do? Like, how can we best prepare for the summer? And what's it going to look like? And if it gets slow, what are you going to do? Right?
That's right. And summer planning and strategizing and figuring out how you're going to pivot really starts right now. Mm-hmm. It maybe even started a few weeks ago, quite honestly. And we'll get into that. But there's some things that change during the summer that are different than, I'm sorry, were you going to say the first one? You want me to?
No.
Okay. So one of the first things that happens in the summer that's different during the other times of the year is that college kids, they get out of school, right? They get out of school usually in the middle of May, and they're out till middle of August, late August. And that means inventory. Because if you live in or near a college town, and there's a lot of colleges, not just the big universities, there's a lot of colleges out there too. These people tend to sell off their books, their furniture, their clothing, anything they can before heading back home. And they want to sell them cheap because honestly, they don't want to transport them. Mm-hmm. They don't want to deal with them again. Some things are going to take back with them, obviously, but a lot of things they will just sell off. So that's something you can take advantage of in terms of inventory per se.
Well, and I'm looking at the chat, and IP and Ninja are getting a little ahead of things, I think. They sort of summarized everything.
Yes.
But not only with college kids, not only are they sort of downsizing. And, we kind of looked at it like, if you're a clothing seller, that can benefit you. If you're a bookseller, textbooks, oh my gosh, they're not going to hold on to them over the summer. But another thing about college kids getting out of school ties into number 2, and that's you have a potential workforce pool
Right.
To pull from, right? Because you have these kids that are coming home or they're out of school now, high school kids included, that need something to do. So if you need a book scanner, or you need a photographer, or you need, some of the things that you can delegate out and you're comfortable with, paying someone else to do, now's the time. Why not? And I love it. I love this because you're not, it's the whole give a man a fish or teach him to fish kind of thing. So think about the impact that you're having on this young person, that you're teaching them potentially something new. At a minimum, you're exposing them to something new. And with high school kids, it's a little bit different demographic. I get it. But Ben, everybody sit down for this one. We're sitting there last night and Ben is gonna work for Jason. Not me, mind you, but he's going to help you with the books, right?
Hey, say what?
And it was, yeah. But what's cool is
probably
that
will, but
he's never said it. Like, he's never made any sort of hint or commitment. Like, there's no gray with him. He's like, no, not going to do that. But in this instance, we were talking about some places we're going to go and source, and he mentioned this really cool store that's actually not far from here. And I said, oh, great, Jason, we can go there tomorrow. And Ben's like, no, that's my spot. You're not going to get my commish. You just, go on with yourself. And so it was really cool because he's now motivated in a way that he's never been motivated before. And college and high school kids are a great resource. You might have to watch, the younger they are or the less experienced they are in life, you might have to watch them a little bit more. But there's myriad tasks that can be delegated to young people. So your pool for potential employees just doubled, right?
Right. And plus, if you need to give these people access to funds to source things for you, family member is usually a little bit more trustworthy. Like, I know where he sleeps. No, but in all seriousness, though, like, I'm more comfortable doing that with him than I would be just someone that I just hired or didn't really have any sort of track record with. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Hopefully we'll be able to work that out. I think we can.
I think so too. Yeah, I'm excited about it. And he's, he can do the minimal math, so that that's not going to be an issue.
Right.
And he's super psyched about the scanner, and he's always been a good sourcer. So it's just a next stepping stone. And again, whether your young hire stays with you or doesn't, consider that you're sending them off into the world with a new skill. And, somewhere down the line, if Ben needs to make extra money or whoever needs it, this is something that they'll learn. There you go.
For sure. I think that another thing that's different in the summer, and this is kind of an interesting one, Kaaren and I didn't really put, I think you mentioned it today.
Yeah,
because
it's a big one.
We were coming in to the warehouse today and we kind of hit one roadblock, and then we hit one thing where the lanes went down to one. And then, it was just annoying. But in the summertime, your traffic patterns in your town and around your town, probably your city, if you live in a city, they probably change. There's not as many people on the roads in the summer. And so you think, well, how does that relate to my business? Well, less cars on the road means you can get places quicker for the most part. And I found that sourcing in the morning, I would never normally do it in certain areas because the traffic to get to there would it would take so long. It would take so long that it just doesn't make sense. Well, now in the summertime, those could become viable options because there's less traffic. You can get around in the morning and the late afternoon,
right,
or the middle of the afternoon, depending on when schools get out, a little bit easier. So it makes that early morning sourcing time or whatever you're doing for your business in the morning just more efficient.
Right, and it's a marked difference in Charlotte. Like, as soon as school gets out, you know it, because rush hour is not the same experience that it currently excruciatingly has become. I'll also throw out there, though, that traffic patterns can change the other way too. Be mindful that certain types of places are going to be busier at different times of the day now.
Like a place with a pool,
right?
For instance, like a fitness club or a YMCA or something like that.
Right. Even our local thrifts, like families tend to shop at them here on the weekends, Sunday after church or Saturday in the morning or whatever. Like, there's different patterns here. So that might be something to think about as well.
Mark says Yanni and Lauren are selling very well, especially when you listen together. But the problem is, Mark, you always get an INAD with that. But you haven't heard about this, have you?
No.
It's a thing.
Okay.
Somebody made a recording, and some people think it sounds like the recording is saying Yanni, and others think it sounds like it's saying Lauren. So it became a big debate. It was like the dress color a few years ago.
I'm so sorry I missed that debate.
It's terrible.
My turn.
So go for it. Yep. Number 4.
Yard sale and estate sale season, right? So if you're in some places, maybe you guys get that year-round. Kudos, good for you. In the South, the northern or South that we're in, right now, late spring is about the time that yard sales start to kick into gear. Estate sales as well. So you're going to be able to find more thingies, right? Because you have all these increased opportunities.
Yeah, and I think that the community sales, we've talked about this before, but the community sales give you the biggest bang for your buck, because Kaaren and I won, was that 2 years ago or 1 year? I can't remember. It might have been 2 years ago. We went to like 55 individual
the record day, yeah.
In one day.
Yeah.
And it was by like 11 a.m. It wasn't even that late in the day. And it was crazy because we just would hit the community ones only. Even if we had to drive a little ways to them,
right.
Still you're getting like 10, 12, 15 sales in one area instead of driving to one here and one there. But use Yard Sale Treasure Map. It's a great app that I think it takes into account the Craigslist listings for the most part. Gasalar is another one. GSALR is another one you can get. And I don't know if it has some overlap. It might. And you can plan your route with these apps, which is really cool. Like you can literally map out the ones you want to go to, and it can plan the route by GPS, what's sort of the most efficient way to do it. And of course, you can also see the info about each sale. And estatesales.net is a great resource for finding info on estate sales in your area. Estate sales are a little different than a yard. Actually, they're a lot different than a yard sale, because the circumstances of the estate sale are usually much different. Usually someone has moved or sometimes even passed away. And the estate has to be liquidated or at least moved, the stuff in it has to be moved very quickly. So people are willing to get rid of things. They tend to price a little higher on the front end, but sometimes on Sunday, you can go and pick up really great deals in an estate sale. And certain items like clothing and books and things like that, and CDs and DVDs, sometimes you can make one offer for all of it and get it really, really cheap instead of going in there and piecemealing and picking away at it. So just make an offer that's really low for all of it, and you'd be surprised what you can get. I've bought some books that way before. I've bought some CDs. I just missed a big, I think it was a book haul one time. We were at that, remember we were at that one last year, maybe 2 years ago, and I said, man, I need to go out there and buy those books. And I came back and this lady had already like bought them all. And it was probably like 150, 200 books. And they were things like on quilting patterns and stitching, things like that. Like they're all like just little base hit sort of books that'll all sell for like, 12, 15, 18 bucks on FBA. And she bought them all. Like, I don't know what she paid for them. Probably really cheap because they were only like $1 a book anyway. She probably got them for like 50 cents or lower. But you can definitely do that with, use those apps, guys, because that'll really help you plan your routes instead of just driving all around town.
Do you want to answer?
Oh, was it something?
Some stuff. So, we took it away. Oh, I think. Do we notice that yard sale prices are going up? I think was the question. I don't like across the board. No, because if somebody really wants to get rid of it, which is the impetus for having sales, they're going to sell it out. I think that we're noticing people making comparables to what, here, my treadmill sells for $972 on eBay, brand new in the box. I've only used it once. So they're $800, please. Like we've seen that, but I think that's just a sign of the times. I think the internet is just becoming more prolific. So that's why we're seeing it more. But I think by and large, I think yard sales are still the same. I don't notice that they're getting.
I mean, you run into people who think they can charge sort of online prices.
That's always fun.
But the reality is, one or two things going to happen when you run into that person. One, you're going to be able to explain to them, selling online has expenses that you wouldn't have, and trouble and packing and shipping and things like that you wouldn't have here. So that's why there's usually a higher price. And sometimes the person will buy that argument. That happens maybe 5% of the time. The other 95% of the time, they really don't want to sell it that bad. They're just in love with their stuff. And they think, absolutely, this Ralph Lauren short sleeve polo is worth $10. It's like, no, it's really not. And they just will hang on to it. And you're not going to make any deals there. You might as well walk away. You can always try to bundle, buy 2 or more things. And sometimes people will give you a better deal that way. But if they're just way crazy, sometimes I'll just offer a really super low offer, and they won't necessarily take it, but they'll counter with something that's more reasonable. And, we've gotten some things that way from time to time.
Well, and we've also put it back on them. Like, okay, if it sells for that much, why don't you sell it on eBay? More power to you. Good luck, right?
Yeah, there was a projector one time, though, we found at a yard sale, and the guy never really used it. And he wanted $20 for it, which in a yard sale, that's an expensive item. Do you remember that projector? It was like it wasn't brand new, but it was practically new.
I'm remembering the one we bought, and then it was broken.
It was broken.
Oh, sorry.
But we didn't know it was broken. I don't know if it was really broken. But the interesting thing is, like, we sold it, it got returned, and then I think I sold it again. But it ended up selling for like $300 or something crazy like that. So I was fine with paying $20 for it.
Yeah, I remember.
It was no big deal to do it, and there was no way we could have known the condition. I think that was kind of maybe a buyer just didn't want it.
Well, and you know what else you can do? If it's something where you maybe you got there early, or maybe they've got a lot of something, or they have a something that you really want, and it's just priced crazy, just, tell them, all right, when you have this at the end of if you're not a wheeler and dealer, you can always leave your number, get a business card or write it on a piece of paper and leave it with them. Like, I'm remembering the lady with the watches, the fake Rolex watches, right? You remember that? Like, there's a market for that.
Sure.
It was that one where we went and she had like 6 of them, and she was asking like America prices for them. And when you're in over in China, you can get them really, really cheap. They're pretty good fakes, whatever. And she was holding tight to that higher price. And I want to say we did not leave our number with her. I don't even know why I told you that story. So
I mean, we'll
continue.
Most people understand that a yard sale is a place to get rid of things and to make a few bucks. It's not a place to get maximum retail value. It really isn't. The person is investing their time and energy to put the items out there, but ultimately they're going to be left with a bunch of stuff they're either going to take back into their house or take to donate. And I have no problem letting people know that sometimes if I want to buy, a lot of something, and I prefer to do that if I can. If they've got like a whole bunch of items, I had a guy a couple weekends ago, he had probably 30 books. This is where people don't know what they have. 30 books and they were textbooks. Most of them are older, unfortunately, but he had 30 books or so in a couple bins. And I said, what's the price on them? He said, it's $1 a book or $50 for all. I thought, there's not 50 books here. Like, he has no idea there was maybe 35 at the outside, and I'm thinking, so I'm going to pay more if I buy more of them. That makes no sense. So people they throw out numbers sometimes. They don't really know a lot of times. And if they're the eBay or Amazon warriors and they want to post like a listing on it, I will just lowball those offers just for fun to see what happens.
And it depends on what kind of mood we're in, right? If we're going to be like ornery or happy-go-lucky with that kind of stuff. Illinois picker, yes. So with resellers, that's the talk we talk, right? It's one thing that it's selling for or listed for that amount, but common regular Joe yard sailor sees it for said price and thinks that's the value of it. Yes, I get it. And yes, it's a completely different thing. But I think we've on occasion broached that educational topic, right? It's all good that your treadmill sells for that, but there's the cost and what is it actually, has it sold recently and all that. And that's a lot of effort.
Or you can just flat out ask them, well, why aren't you selling it on that platform?
Oh, yeah. We've done that before too. Well, here, why don't you?
And they usually don't really have a reason. Like, I think a lot of people who do this, and I know we're spending a lot of time on this, but I think a lot of people who post an internet price on a yard sale item or say that it's this, I think it's because they don't know what to price it at. They really don't. So they go online and they Google it real quick, and it comes up on eBay or Amazon's listing, whatever, and they say, well, that looks good. Yeah. But I want the yard sailor, and I think probably 85, 90% of the people who have a yard sale are of this type. I want the yard sailor who just wants to get rid of stuff because they're more interested in getting rid of it than getting max value. If they want a max value, they'd list it locally. They would list it on eBay or Amazon. They figured out. So if they're not that person, you know, that wants to just get rid of it, I'm not going to make a deal.
Well, and that's just lazy too, because it's not that difficult. I mean, it's really easy to Google something.
Right. No, it absolutely is. But a lot of times those people are they're just not really educated sellers, and that's fine. I mean, it's, you know, I just price stuff in a yard sale to move.
Aw, thank you, Adam, for that super chat, $1.99. I should be sending you one, though. It was your birthday, silly. And I thought I was bringing cupcakes to Vegas. I don't know about...
Tea bags or K-cups, like the Keurig cups.
Yeah, I know.
Huh.
But what's the context of that? I don't know what the context is.
I think he's saying $1.99 for that.
Right. It's for me. That's okay.
Yes.
So that's mine. Mine. All right. So I want to do the next one, and then you can do the last one.
All right, do it.
Because I love this one, and you not so much. But if you get a vacation as a reseller, or maybe your reselling isn't your full-time thing, and you get a regular vacation with your job or whatever, wherever you go on vacation, make it a little bitty bit a work trip, right?
Right.
Source wherever you end up. Educate yourself wherever you end up, whatever. But we always try to do that. I mean, to the point where I think when I went to go visit Lauren in Minnesota, I left all my work clothes in the hotel because I bought like 10 pairs of silver jeans at the local thrift. But that's a whole other story. And speaking of sourcing, when you go on said trips, I haven't seen Yvonne yet, but those Duluth Trading Company, those bison leather driving shoes sold this week.
Yeah,
and
you got a good amount, right?
Yes,
the best offer.
I paid what, $5 for them.
Yep.
In Colorado Springs or Colorado, and I put them up for I think $53 plus $10 shipping, and I took a best offer for $5 less, right? So or $7 less, so $45 plus $10, so it was $54.99. Great return on my vacation, and they were tiny and they fit right in my suitcase. So there you go.
Couple questions here. Marco Polo says, has anyone tried making a list of what you're looking for, then just giving a list of the person running the yard sale? I don't know if that would really work. I think you could be real general with that list, Marco, and say, hey, do you have any books? Do you have any CDs? Do you have clothing? Do you have video games? That's fine. But I don't know that giving them a list.
Well, because they're busy.
Right.
Like,
they're just wanting to sell their crap.
Yeah, and there's other customers and stuff. So just whatever your niche is, like unless you're all over the place, then you're just going to have to look at all the things, right? But we often will walk up and we're very direct. Do you have any women's jeans? You know, you can't just ask for jeans because then we're looking at kids' jeans for an hour. No bueno. So do you have video games? Do you have books? Do you have jeans? Specific things that we're looking for, and that's what we ask for. I got
to answer this next one because it's bringing up a funny image in my mind from yesterday. So Anna asked, do people get weirded out if you scan books at yard sales? So yesterday was the first day that I actually went out with my new Bluetooth scanner, my KDC 200, and used it scanning books. And I scanned like 900 some books yesterday. And the vast majority of those were in a Goodwill store. It was a pretty good Goodwill store that's I've often had great luck with. And I know they don't mind resellers there. The one over there in Steel Creek. So they really don't. They don't. We've had people, right. So, but to scan all those books, like it took a while, like it's 5 shelves high. So I literally put on my earbuds. I had them in both ears and had that plugged in my phone so I could hear the beeps and tell when it was an accept or reject. And I just went to town on those books. And so many people came by and saw me with this little barcode sticking out. And I've got these earbuds in and I'm not talking to anybody. And I'm not being very social because I'm like, I'm here on a mission. I want to see how long it's going to take, what I can get from this. And I felt like none of the employees said anything to me, and none of the customers did either. Although I did, like there was one time I was down at the bottom of a shelf, and this lady's like standing above me, like shopping the books above me, which was kind of weird. And she's like, why is he sitting on the floor? And it's like, but it was the most easiest way to get them all. Look, guys, you're in this to run a business. You're in this to make part-time income. And ultimately, yeah, you're probably going to feel a little weird and awkward the first time you're there scanning things and doing things in front of people. And they might ask. And then you can say whatever you want to say. You can be truthful, or you can tell some sort of outrageous lie if you really want to. But ultimately, you can just say, hey, I'm a reseller, and I look to repurpose things, which I think is always, because you really are, to keep them from getting just donated or thrown in a landfill. And this is what I do. And I need to see values to see if they're worth it or not. And some people will be, I mean, are they really going to be offended by that? I mean, if they are, there's nothing you can do about it. And if they're not offended by it, they might say, well, I've got more stuff. So I've decided to take a different tack on that. I used to be like secretive reseller. And now I've realized, like, scanning books, there's no way to be secretive about that. It's just not possible. You're standing there literally scanning things, and there's no way to do it. So don't even sweat it. What else was in here? I've had folks bring stuff out of the house to ask for something else. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, good point.
We're not the best about doing that. That's a great tip, though, Ninja. Do you know about the benefit auction for Tanya, Thrifty Traders? I do not. I know Tanya is having some health issues, which she's been pretty open about on Facebook and so on. So I'm not telling you anything you don't know. I don't know the extent of all those health issues, but Tanya's been a great friend of the show and a great friend to me over the last few years. So if there's any way we can help out, we will certainly do so. I hope she'll be there in Austin, but I don't know if she will or not. Yeah. In a few weeks.
Yeah. Well, she's on my list. She's one of the girls that I'm looking forward to meeting when we go out there. So, and somebody asked how we expense our vacation. Oh, Ninja did. Great topic. How do you expense it? We write it all off. What are you talking about? And we have some trips coming up, right?
Talk to your people, though. Your professionals.
All right, talk to your people, but
because we're not accountants or tax professionals, we can't tell you. But there are some legalities around it all. And what you can and can't do, and your situation is going to be different. But absolutely, you have the ability to do that.
Sure, and you should maximize your write-offs for sure. Yep.
Let's see. I'm scanning to send info back to my mothership. That, I thought about playing that off and acting like I was kind of weird or something. Just doing that, but it would have been funny. Anyway.
Yeah, Jennifer, me too. But I know where he lives, so I might just show up. I might leave you at that event and just go see him. I am not flying. I am not flying that far.
He's like hours away from there. He's not like right around the corner.
But let's be honest. We will be closer in that moment than we are now. Like far closer. So I'm gonna notch up the harassing him about not coming to Austin.
So apparently, we're renting a car
day now. Yep. Add that to the write-offable expenses.
That would use up a whole day doing that. All right, so I'm just saying. Last one here. Thank goodness this is over. Almost. Sorry, a little inside humor there. Take advantage of seasonal inventory. Jennifer says you can take her with you. 2-hour drive. I thought it was a 3-hour drive, actually, Jennifer.
3-hour tour.
But the way Tino drives, it's probably 2. He drives like a madman, and I will say that publicly. He does. He does not mind pressing the gas pedal. Let's just say.
I was looking forward to riding the gauntlet, and now I'm going to miss out. Come on.
Tino's awesome.
He's my people. It sounds like he drives like I drive.
He is your people.
Just fine.
All right, so take advantage of seasonal inventory. Sell what is in season. Obviously, summer's coming, and things like shorts and T-shirts and so on. Things for the pool, for the lake, for the ocean. Those are things that would be vacation-y type items are obviously going to be things that people are going to be looking for.
Right. And some folks mentioned it when we first got started. As we close out, there's some things we're going to wrap up with. But if you have the ability to sit on some things for a while, if you've got some capital that doesn't need to be working for you in this moment, definitely take advantage of past seasonal clearance, right?
Right.
And then put it to the side. That's not going to give you your quick buck necessarily, but that's something that people do all the time as well. Things go for 90% off, so do it.
Sure.
But definitely certain things sell better certain times of the year. I think we'll all agree on that.
Yeah.
Other things sell all year long, right?
That's
so
true.
We're just saying, consider when you're getting new inventory or you're stocking up, be mindful of the things that will sell better, over the summer. I've taken off my glasses now, so I can't see anything that.
Well, and you should. In the summertime is a good time to stock up on what is out of season.
Oh, sure.
And vice versa. In the winter, you can stock up on summer items. So this speaks to being able to figure out your capital. I mean, I was selling jeans and shoes mainly, and they don't have as much seasonality. I mean, jeans fall off in the summer, but around here, they don't really go much cheaper, honestly, and they tend to get pulled from the racks. You don't see as many of them around, but you could buy this time of year, as we're going to summer, like heavy winter coats and thicker pants and things like that will sell in the late fall and the winter, and people are going to be looking for several months from now, and vice versa. But it means you're going to have to sit on some items. Either going to list them and wait for your price, or wait to list them down the road, and that's going to tie up your capital. But it's a great strategy, and a lot of people do it. And then once you've gotten like a full year cycle, then you're kind of on point with it, because you're selling in the season what was out and buying what was out and so on. So that's a great tactic.
Right. And as we're, something I just thought of, as we're transitioning into summer, the whole spring cleaning is a real thing. So people are, purging. With regard to thrift stores, they're purging things from the closets now to make room for summer stuff, fall stuff, winter stuff, whatever. So some of that stuff will trickle down as well. But all of these things can be done and should be at least thought about and acted upon as, like we said, we have about a month before summer officially starts, but you don't start on the day of. You need to be proactive, think ahead, plan ahead, and a couple of people in the beginning sort of listed out all the things you should do and in prepping for a new season. But one of the things that's important, especially if you feel like your business is slowing down, never is there a time when you're not doing anything, or should there be a time when you're not doing something for your business? You're not working it. You're not, you're not just sitting back and just waiting for something to happen. So if it does get slow, you've also got opportunity to make it better, right? If your sales have slowed down, it goes without saying, tweak your listings, relist, all the things, tweak prices, whatever. But take the slower weeks to learn something new, learn a new niche. Always be educating yourself. Always be learning about new product, new platforms, new methods, manners to do what you're doing and do it better.
Absolutely. And I'm just going to answer a question here. What do you do with items that aren't moving? White and gray boutique answers. Well, that's a great question. And I think to tag it on to what Kaaren said, I mean, you got to move them at some point. You may even have to make the decision to pull them and, sell them locally or donate them back and get capital back out of it. Or maybe you need the space. If you've got the room and you can absorb having the capital tied up, you can keep them for as long as you want. But most of us are not in that position. I mean, it's better to move things and have capital coming back in, even if you sold at break even or even a loss in some cases. Like, let's say you buy something for $5 and you end up selling it to where you only get $4 of that back. Yeah, you lost $1, which really sucks. I hate losing money on an item. I absolutely detest it. But that $4, you can turn it back into something else. Whereas before it's tied up, so is it worth losing $1 to get the $4 back to move something else? A lot of times it is. So those would be the times I would say that you could sell at a loss, but those times are few and far between. But you got to move it. You scan books for Amazon or eBay. Really for eBay, I was going to show you my phone. Some of you know I just got a scanner yesterday. Well, actually 2 days ago. I just started using it yesterday.
Because somebody sent it to you. Did you tell them that?
They did. So you can see I've done about 2,500 scans so far with an acceptance rate of 8%. That's a little arbitrarily high. That's not really a 100% accurate number, but you should look for a 3 to 5%. And I look to sell it on Amazon. There are books that if I could sell on eBay and probably make the same, not the same profit, but at least, make some profit from them. So that happens because sometimes you scan something, by the time you get it back and process it. I think I'm going to make Fridays my shipment days, which we just did. We can show the shipment.
Oh, now would be the time. So show the
Yes,
shipment.
Show the shipment. So this is the shipment we did this morning. Kaaren helped. And you can see
and I clapped and woohooed.
The bottom box has about 42 pounds of books. The second one has 36, and the top one has 7 pounds. So that was about 60 some books, 300 some dollars profit potential. I mean, obviously price will fluctuate some. I actually did sign up for a relister. That one, it's only $10 a month, and it's worth it to be able to reprice your listings. But so that's what I got this. I would love to get up to 100 books per week. And I see a way to do that now. Like with the scanner, 100% doable in my area. 100% doable. Without one, much tougher. And cherry picking books, much tougher. But I'm really excited about being able to scale this part of the business and so on. And I see like, I might even start like a series, like not live shows, but just kind of like showing you, you know, my scanning exploits and so on, and book selling and what it's like. Because I think it's one of those ways like you can have a nice little niche there and get a nice pop of income, and you don't have to overthink the business. You don't have to think all these questions about, is it setting too long? Repricers are out there that work really well for making sure you're always competitive with the market. And it's just a great way to add to your bottom line. And it's something you can completely outsource if you want. You can completely outsource a book selling business, unlike virtually any other type of business. It's not that hard to have someone else scouting and finding the books for you. It's not that hard to have someone else listing the books. Amazon will even prep and fulfill it and prep the books for you if you want to pay a fee per book. I mean, it is as much or as little work as you want to put into it, honestly. So I'm excited about it. It's been a lot of fun.
Is that Fabiola asks you a question?
Yeah, Fabiola said, what's the name of the relisting pricing tool? I'm using, what's the name of it? Now I can't think of the name of it. I just had it. I got so. It's the, hold on, I'll tell you.
Phenomena.
I know, this is Reprice It. Repriceit.com.
All one word, Reprice It.
They offer repricing up to, they're a little bit older, and you know, they don't have some of the bells and whistles of some of the newer repricers, but they're also cheap. $10 for up to 500 listings, and then from 500 to 1,000, I think it's like $17 a month. And so it sort of scales up, and you get 30 days free. So, and Scout IQ is for the scanning. Yes.
Right, that's different.
That's different. And Scout IQ I've been using for that, and I like it. The triggers are nice. You can set up your own levels. I mean, think about guys on eBay. Imagine. Think on eBay if you could literally go scan items, maybe taking photos of them and it could recognize them, or maybe just barcodes, and you had an application that would tell you if it met your criteria to buy it or not and the profitability you want to get from it. To my knowledge, that doesn't exist on eBay. It doesn't. Like, you have to develop all that knowledge up here and look things up. That is so much slower. That's, you know, that part of this game, like that takes you in a lot of niches, a year, 2 years, 3 years, sometimes 5 years, maybe in some niches, to really develop that kind of knowledge. You know, like think how long it was before you could go out and just pull jeans.
It took a while.
That were profitable. Like how many thousands of pairs of jeans did you have to look through? Literally thousands before, with you coming to me and saying, what about this one? What about that one? And it's just crazy.
Tell the truth. You finally just got annoyed and said, oh, just buy them already, woman.
That's probably true.
No, and it's a confidence thing, right? When you're just getting started, it's really easy to go back to the source, right?
Right.
Are these okay? Are these are great? And at some point, you just have to leap. Take the leap.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just, you know, I mean, run your business however you want, guys. I just look at it like anything you can do that you can make it so much easier on yourself, and you can outsource and completely get rid of yourself from the business. Like that's kind of my model going forward. Like I want to just be in business in ways that I can get rid of me at any time, because like you were talking about earlier about, you know, going on a vacation. What vacation? Like I can't leave. like even leaving this summer for these 2 trips is going to suck really badly for sales. It's going to suck. There's no way around it. I can either increase my handling time or I can put my store on vacation. I mean, it's just no easy way around that. And that's what's so frustrating as a reseller sometimes is you feel like you have a lot of downtime, but you don't have any downtime either. It's so weird, you know, like it really messes with your mind and makes it hard to plan anything outside of it.
Yeah, well, in some ways we're on all the time, right? You get offers in the middle of the night for, will you take this for that, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So there were other things, a few other things to wrap up what you do if things get slow. And you can remodel. You know,
yes.
You can redo your shipping area. Yes. You can restructure, maybe look into a different platform, change the way you're doing things, and reassess. Like always strive to do better, learn more, be more, right? So whenever you have time, you know, the impulse is to maybe play Candy Crush a little bit extra. But think about...
People still play that?
Well, it's just an example.
You'd love that example.
But use that time, like think about what are you doing to make your situation better, your business better. For
sure.
And you have opportunities to do that all the time. So don't, you know, whenever folks get on and they're like, business is slow, like, oh, did you just make a mouth sound effect? Okay, well, do something about it. And there's like, no longer is it just, can you just sit back and, you know, just complain about business? Like there's no reason, is my point. There's no reason to just sit back and moan and groan because things aren't going your way. You know, just make it better. You have the power to do it. You know, change direction.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I don't know what all the complaining really gets us.
An ulcer?
I mean, I complain about a platform or a model or this or that, but I also go and do something about it. You know, I started complaining. I don't know if complaining is the right word, but maybe it is. I started complaining about, you know, the lack of profitability and the way that I couldn't break myself away from this. And I'm always caught in this hamster wheel of sourcing and listing and shipping and packing. And
gerbil circle.
Yeah. And it's just like, man, I don't want to do that. Like that's life. There's more to life than that. I just don't think you have to run a business like that. I think you can choose, you know, different methods and so on. So you have to be able to put in some time and energy to figure it out. But then after that, you can figure out ways to make it simpler.
Right. And what's interesting for me, and we've kind of been joking about it, but for the last 9 months, rugby is life. And we're coming up on year end, and I stayed up until the sun came up working on a year-end video.
I don't think she came to bed at like 6 a.m. It was crazy.
And I'll probably do it again for the next 2 nights. It's just what I do. But here's the takeaway from that. So I've been, it's food for my soul. It brings me so much joy to do the things for rugby, right? But now it's going to be over on Sunday. There'll be some minimal planning for next year, but now I'm going to have all of that energy, all of that time, all of those Kaaren resources to put into other Kaaren things. And I'm not, you know, you don't complain about it. I'm not complaining about it. We're very blessed to be able to follow the avocations that we choose, right? To spend our time and the things that feed our souls. But it's going to be interesting now that it goes away, because it's a big, big, big chunk of my every day. That now we're going to put that into the business. And someone asked about the consignment pipeline and how that's going earlier, and it's going great. And
we get objects. That made it sound like they're unidentified. Science is still trying to figure them out. No, we get items every week from our clients, and you know, it's been great. We still got a long ways to go to build that, but you know, it's one of those businesses where it takes away the capital and the sourcing time, which is great. Like that makes it simpler for sure. Jerry says, try being a milkmaid. The cows have to be milked every day, twice a day, no days off ever. 10 cents a gallon if you're lucky.
I think Jerry's serious.
I think he is too. That does not sound, but wait, how much milk can a cow?
Is that like woodchucks?
How much Never mind.
I bet a lot. Like, but that's math. That's some math. Jerry, why don't you tell us about
10
that?
cents a gallon. That does not sound profitable.
But if the cow,
how many gallons does a cow really have?
Jerry's going to tell us. See, I grew up on a farm and we didn't have dairy cows, so I have no idea. And they hook them up to machines. And
I grew up in the suburbs, and I looked at cows and pictures in books.
What's a cow say? I can't believe you're such a good sport.
You look good for 2 hours sleep.
Oh, thanks. I'm feeling it though. Like all of a sudden, I'm like, it's hit. I'm starting to slut.
It's a show. It did it. It's getting on YouTube. It'll do it to you every time. It'll wear you out. Your warehouse look too small now? No.
What?
I'm not sure if that. I think that was a question. Does your warehouse look too small now?
Oh no. Because we're always moving stuff around, and we've actually something some space, and I think you reappropriated some of my baker's racks for the books. TBH.
I made a baker's rack for books. I needed it.
I'm gone for one day, and I come back, and not only the truth is coming out now. Not only did you take my free eBay boxes to make shelves out of, but now I have how many baker's racks?
How do you know they were yours and not mine? We both ordered them.
I wanted them.
Okay, that's fair. She ordered them, or she wanted them. All right. Well, you didn't pay anything for them, so don't waste any more eBay boxes. You know what? I will waste every eBay box I want.
Where's Hank to back me up on this? She was there that Instagram day.
Good producers do about 35 pounds for 6 gallons of milking. Yikes! That's terrible. 60 cents of that doesn't even make sense.
Wait, what does it say?
He's talking. The milkmaids only get about 6 gallons of milking.
Oh.
It's only 60 cents. What are they paying these people in these countries?
No, it's 10 cents a gallon. Oh, times 6? That's it?
That's what Jerry says.
But Jerry has more than one cow, I bet.
7 gallons per. Well, yeah, but I mean, you got to go around to a lot of cows there.
We're having a cow convo.
I don't know how many cows. How many cows can you milk in an hour?
Well, and Jerry, is it manual milking, or are you hooking them up to a milking machine? Just.
Trisha says do a series. I think she's talking about a series on the books. Yeah, and by the way, we've kind of been floating this idea with ourselves, but maybe we'll float it out here to you guys as well.
Oh, yeah. Change.
We are thinking about doing less live shows, and specifically doing them not at the same time either, mainly because this 2 o'clock time frame really is a challenge for us now with our schedules and the way things are running in our lives, just even outside of the business. Mm-hmm. It's really difficult. So we're thinking about we talked about maybe one live show a week.
Yeah, and maybe doing some. We need to get back to the pre-recorded stuff. We need to get back the more content-focused, shorter videos.
Yeah. We
need to get back to the interview shows. And we've talked about maybe doing some evening shows instead of during the day.
Yeah.
Because what's happening is, we want to walk the walk if we're going to talk the talk. And what's happening is when we do these live shows, we have an hour or whatever of prep, and then the show happens, and then after, and it's taking this huge chunk out of an already demanding short day, right?
Right.
So if anybody has a solution for all that, just let us know.
Well, just what your feedback is, and I always like hearing from people what sort of content they want to see.
Oh, sure.
And, I do want to do more with this book journey. I do want to get back some interviews. I do have people that are in the slate, in the hopper. So that will happen, but it's just trying to transition away from so many of these live shows during the middle of the afternoon. And we get good turnouts, and I love the people that come out. And I know for some people that would really suck because they've kind of, they plan their day around who's on YouTube when, and I get that.
Well, and we like to do this together, and with some things that have come up recently, we can't. And you're always so sad when I'm not here.
That's true. And Ninja says, did we Google the best day and time to have a live stream? No. Actually, we didn't. I don't even know how we ever settled on this time. We just sort of did.
We just picked it.
because I don't know what the best time is. It's actually probably at night, honestly, because more people would be able to watch. But you know, our audience has gotten used to this time frame as too, so it would probably be worse, at least at first.
Right, but we are, and we genuinely want your input, and we are looking into sort of adapting into a new cycle, right? A new season, especially over the summer, because you know, with having a teenager that doesn't drive, our schedule is going to have to help facilitate that, right? So there's that. So you know, we have to be able to.
Some are saying evening would be good. Swamp says I vote tab at 5 a.m. in the morning. We can. It'll be 5 a.m. somewhere, Swamp, but it might not be 5 a.m. where we're doing it.
All right, Swamp. So you wake up at 5 a.m. and send us a Google Hangout invite. You get up first and then send us the invite.
We'll ignore it for several hours, and then that'll be that.
Although if I continue to stay up all night, then I'll already be awake. So there you go.
Send out a Facebook poll to your subs for time and day. Yeah, I mean, we could. I could actually put a Google form on there, but it's tricky because I don't know that would get really a consensus. We actually, and honestly, we can only fit it in certain places in our schedule. So it's not like we can just do it anytime we want and say, well, it's gonna, you know, what time works the best for you guys? And it just not gonna work that way. It's probably gonna be within a range. But I would like to get back to more sort of like focused, hard-hitting content that's just shorter. And sometimes that's not any easier to make. I mean, these shows, we don't have to edit. They just go.
And then they post right away.
They post right away. There's not really much editing time. So they're actually pretty simple. But we are on an hour, and we talk about the topic for sometimes an hour on a given day. It's usually less. And then, you know, just being here, and sometimes you can't be here. I mean, it's gotten tricky. So we're just talking about it.
Well, and arguably during the day is when the business of the day occurs, right? So if we're going to source, it has to be between 9 and 5. If we're going to post, ship, etc., it's going to, I can't read it. You're going to have to read it out loud or tell me about it later.
So Euro Extreme says, so you guys going to finally have a season finale cliffhanger? I don't even know what that means, but it's pretty funny. I know what it means, but it's just kind of funny in our context. We're going to have a cliffhanger.
We could.
Like me falling off the dock here or something. It's like, did he really fall or no? I don't know. I'm just trying to think of a cliffhanger, like a literal cliffhanger. I could be on a cliff hanging.
So Jason stayed up a little too late last night.
I'll be like on a green screen. We'll create the green screen there again. It'll be like a cliff in the background. I'm hanging.
Oh, that would be fun. Let's do that.
With your permission, I'm going to post the auction link on the Rebels Facebook page. Is that for Tanya Adams? So that's fine. Absolutely. No problem. Not many questions or comments on the edited post, though. Yeah, I don't know, Ninja. It's tricky. I mean, Google would tell you to do live shows, actually, if you wanted to maximize your watch time, your minutes, revenue, all those things. They would not tell you to quit doing live shows. But I look at it like I have to fit it in with what we're also doing. Like I'm seeing now that like for me to go source now is just as much time, probably not as much time as sourcing jeans, honestly. It's not as much time. But it's still a big chunk of time that's going to take to like even source books and build up a book inventory. So I've got some plans for that.
And what's interesting to me is that your process, like if there's, you know, still folks that are brand new watching, like our process to learn is the same as yours. Like we're going out and we're being very proactive and deliberate in seeking out the knowledge, right? Right.
Yeah, I agree. All right, guys. Well, look, that's going to do it for this show. So check out the next show, which should be right up here, the little box. Check out another video. And we'll see you guys really soon. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend.
Yeah, happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Don't forget to schleik it. And as always, we're going to say schleik. Go ahead.
Yep. Go ahead.
This is Just Ask Kaaren.
And Prof Sales.
Saying good sales to you.